ABSL Summit. Transform to thrive.
Good afternoon, everybody, and a warm welcome to this session, which we very humbly call an odyssey. So I'm here today with the two colleagues from Roche Informatics, Egle Bronzini, who is the global head of chapters. Thank you. And Paweł Pyszlak, who is the head of delivery management, and also the site head for Roche Informatics in Poland. My name is Philippe Petolon. I'm the chief of staff supporting Egle and her team. So before we go into the session, just a little bit of context for the people who in the audience who may not know Roche. The company is 125 years old. We are considered the world's largest biotechnology company and a world leader in vitro diagnostics. Roche is also a pioneer in personalized healthcare, and we make it our mission to transform the way healthcare is delivered to the world. Now, a very important thing before we go on. It's also 20 years, it's the 20th anniversary of Roche Informatics in Poland, so we're very excited about that. Thank you. And now, yes, thank you. And finally, before I lose my microphone, there's all sorts of things going on here. Before I lose the microphone, I'm moving over to you, Paweł. Why don't you get us started and tell us about the journey that became an odyssey?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here and add to the content that has been shared over the last couple of hours. So our story is not a story how we are planning to change or what we are thinking about changes. It's a real change that happened, so it's a real story. And before I start, I would like to give you a bit of a context. So when we started the change, the transformation, I was leading delivery centers in Poland, Malaysia, and Canada. That was part of the Informatics organization. It was 1,000 people working in those locations. And it was part of Egle's team that was 1/3 of the Informatics at Roche. In addition to that team, Enterprise IT, we also had Pharma IT and also Diagnostics IT. So there were 3 distinct organizations with 5,000 people total. So this is the scope of change that we are talking about. So this is not going to be another story about a single hero that came to the company and in the crisis changed everything and saved the world. It's not going to be also about a company that missed the point and didn't change in time. This is actually a story that I hope many of you can relate. So we as leaders, we run our business. We know how to do that. We navigate through the storms like robotic process automation. We also had a storm of the cloud. We also have right now a big storm of artificial intelligence. Eventually, it's not the storm that transforms you, it's the vision that you have for the organization. The storm, the trend that comes, it can help you or distract you, but this is not the reason why to change. And the other thing that is very important, we very often try to transform under the pressure. The thing is that we very often overlook the danger of the calms. In sailing, it's well known that there are areas without wind. They are very tempting because they are nice, green waters or blue waters. You can go there and take a rest for a bit. The thing is that in those areas, you lose speed for weeks or even months. The thing is that if it takes so long, then your crew becomes tired and eventually they either escape or starve to death. In the past, in the sailing times, it was also the reason of the ghost ships. So people were getting into those calm areas, eventually dying, and then the sails were up, so the ship was going forward. So our story is about the change where you don't need to change. And the thing is that we all as leaders need to start the change before it's really required. So that was our case. We came to an idea that we would like to increase the impact on the healthcare industry, just for the delivery centers, that we would like to have a bigger contribution to the company's success. That's why we created an idea how to change completely, so all the org structures, operating model, financial model, everything. That was our idea. This is where we started. And before we go further, I would like to give the stage to Egle to introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. So that was a great start, right? And my start with this team was absolutely fabulous. I came to the dream job. Everything was running smoothly, very well organized crew, and we were sailing with confidence. However, a storm hit us. In fact, it hit all of us in this room, and that storm was called COVID-19. As responsible for enterprise IT, of course, that was putting our capability to the test with a lot of uncertainty. Nevertheless, we really reassure business continuity for the company. Everybody was very happy with us. So really there was no need for change. And most of us, including myself, were only thinking about how do we get out of this turbulent water into calm water. But there was a little part of the crew that was thinking, the calm water is not our final destination. We really want to look into what's next. We want to accelerate our digital transformation. So it all began.
So that's all how it began, okay? So we are now in a storm. Paweł, what happened next?
So of course, we don't want to create an impression that COVID was an easy thing for us. It took an effort. And obviously, after a storm like that, there is a big temptation to go on the safe waters and just spend a bit of time there, so that we can recover from that. The thing is that we were aware of the danger of the calm waters. We were aware that we can go there and get stuck for weeks or months. So we wanted to don't forget about the change and move forward. The key question was how to bring the crew along, how to make sure that the people can support the change. And there were two things that are quite critical for such endeavors. The first thing is we should never try to exhaust our team to the max in the storm. In this kind of a new trend, like artificial intelligence, don't put all your forces there. Because first of all, you don't know how long the storm will last, and you also need to be prepared for what's coming after this happens. So that's the first thing, don't exhaust. We put a lot of initiative in place to actually support our teams in the storm so that they really maintain the energy. The second thing is that again, it's not the trend that is changing you, it's the vision that you have. So we wanted to have our compelling vision again reiterated, and we wanted to get the buy-in and again show people how we can change ourselves so that our contribution is going to be much bigger. With that, we got all the sales up, all the sales deployed, and with the full speed, we were ready right after the COVID ended with introducing an organizational change of unprecedented size. But then...
Exactly. Then he came to me to ask for approval, because remember, I'm his boss. And it was very clear to me when I saw what he came up with that honestly, even if the change was really thought for the delivery center, you could easily apply that to the whole organization, everyone in my direct responsibility. So we're really talking about accelerating significantly the digital transformation and 15% cost saving year over year, which we have materialized. So this is not an hypothesis, it's the truth. So obviously then I saw the opportunity to elevate that change, an idea born for the delivery center, to my whole enterprise organization. And I asked Paweł, put everything on hold until we really regroup and think about how do we do all of this for everyone. So that was our first turn.
So essentially, one part of the crew was on the boat, while the other part was sitting on the harbor, in the harbor. Okay. So, but this is just a change for one function. What happened next? Where does the odyssey really start?
this is where the odyssey starts, right? Because after a couple of months, as you rightly pointed out, we had part of the team on the boat ready to sail. Another part was sitting on the harbor. Eventually, we moved them into the boat. So we were really ready to activate this new organization. And I went to my boss and my two peers, illustrating, this is what I'm going to do. And they look at me and they say, wow, this is truly a transformative idea. It could really work for all of us. All of us means just doubling the size. So obviously this was exhilarating, it was super exciting, I was super happy about that. However, I suspect that maybe Paweł and his team that were ready to sail since many months really felt that as the journey became longer and longer, we were holding them back to get into Ithaca. It's like if we opened the bag of wins and we were keeping them away from where they wanted to go. So there was a lot of tension in the system, but again, it was such a step change that the benefits were way outweighing any other risk.
Okay, very good. Paweł, so this is quite exciting. The Polish idea goes global. What next?
Well, it was exciting, but it was also the moment when I asked myself, gosh, what have I done? Because you have the team really waiting, and they are waiting for the first change. They are a bit unsure what's going to happen, whether they will have jobs, what kind of jobs, and so on. Then there is another shift, and people come and say, sorry, hold on, then we'll have something bigger coming. And then they go up, and then they say, oh, hold on, because there is another change coming. So I was thinking, if they go to the board of directors, what they will change, the entire company, and will never be done. So there was a high risk of a supernova project. I don't know, maybe you know it from your organizations. Those kind of projects that over the time they grow up, they accumulate energy and mass in the organization. They took all the focus from all the leaders, and suddenly they blow up and either leave a black hole that consumes resources for years, or it's just a white dwarf that doesn't create any impact on the company. So, there was a big risk of such a thing. Then I thought, okay, but there is an opportunity in that, so maybe if we do it right, maybe it's going to be something that will open up new possibilities. And what came to my mind is actually something that is quite strongly related to today's event. When we entered the European Union 20 years ago, our organization was also created 20 years ago. The entrance of European Union actually opened up for us a borderless world. Something that allowed us to move to the world and make a bigger change, not just for our country, not for our organization, but for something bigger. So then I thought, okay, if there is something that can create a borderless organization for us, something that will allow people from my organization to thrive in a global environment, it's worth to give it a try again. However, those kind of things are not an easy story. As a leader, you have a lot of your own personal risks because actually it may not happen. It may not open the borders. So I really, again, try to remind myself that there is a big purpose, what we want to achieve. It's kind of good that we are doing this as an entire organization, and there is a good reason why we can do it again a third time. So we were fully on board, we onboarded our organization, and we wanted to move forward.
Very good. So the bag of winds is open, the storm is about. How did this transformation make informatics more impactful for the company and for the industry?
Look, this is, digital transformation, technology. This is, I think, an historical moment. When we look at the 10 years ahead of us, clearly technology will play a very different role in every company. For us specifically, we are a biotech company, and our engine of innovation is finding the next molecule, the transformative medicine that can really reach out to patients for a unmet need. And if you look at today, our science, our research and development use labs and use equally large language models and algorithms. So we are really at the convergence of science and technology to find the next opportunity to save people's life. And this is in biotech, but for all of you, if you think about business services, if you think about the potential of technology across all of the value chain, we really understand as leader what is the value of this digital transformation, and I hope you are all inspired to go with a little bit of risk after big, big results.
Very good. So we're still very good in time, but I think we need to move on. And do you have any recommendations you would like to leave with the people today? I'll start with you, Paweł, please.
So what I wanted to say is really that this kind of transformation is not straightforward. It's not going to be just going according to the plan. So when you are all sitting and planning, those are the steps, how we'll leverage AI, and AI will change our business. That's not necessarily the good approach. It's really getting on a journey and having the vision that will leverage those technologies. As Egle mentioned, we already have artificial intelligence fully implemented into our core business model. And this is because we started this change before. Not because the wave or the storm of AI came, but because we wanted to achieve certain vision for our organization. So be prepared for a bit longer journey, actually the journey that never ends, because business is infinite sail. It's like an odyssey. And we are not yet done with our own odyssey. We'll continue evolving and changing because this is not one-time thing. It's something that needs to happen constantly. That's something that is very important to keep in mind. This is not transformed to thrive today because we have another step change in front of us. That's something that needs to be embedded in our business. That's something that we need to that needs to remind us about the danger of calm waters that are very tempting, but very dangerous, because when we lose a speed as an organization, we lose a maneuverability, the winds, the waves, and everything will just do with our organization whatever it wants. And this is not the best thing that we would like to do. This is something that makes you a follower, not the organization that is paving the path. So with that, I also wanted to say that trailblazing is something that is very, very difficult, and it's related to quite a lot of personal risk. And as leaders, we need to be able to take the personal risks, because the plan, for sure, will not to be fully realized, and there will be big shifts happening. There will be someone that may take on this idea and make it bigger. So we need to find a way how to share your idea, not just keep it for yourself. You need to find a way how you take the risk in front of your people that may not be happy with the way how things are progressing. So all of that is super important to make the transformation really, truly working for us and really making it real progress, not just planning and thinking about it.
Egle, how about you?
Well, now we are almost 2 years into this transformation, so I have data about the benefits, and my consideration are the following. The first one is, I agree with you, Paweł, and I give you credit not to get just excited to be in calm water, right? It's tempting, but you want to keep the momentum. So again, good is good, but you can always be better. In our case, being better for the patients that we serve. The second element, I would say, you talked about risk, and you took personal risk coming to me with that. I would also say that it's very important that in your team there is the psychological safety to really challenge and really speak up. If you don't have that, you will leave so many good ideas on the table simply because people will not approach you. So you were brave, and I think this is also possible in a company like Roche because we value the psychological safety and we really want to make sure that people can express themselves. And then my last reflection is really about you thought of a change that you would do for the delivery center, but really you thought about something that would benefit the whole system. And maybe this is a practical tip for all of you, right? So how do you boil the ocean? Well, think about your own org, but think about the system. How could the system get better? So I give you credit for that, because clearly it worked for the system and we have seen the results. So all in all, I think the real hero of this story is a mindset, a culture that we hold at Roche and we treasure, which is a mindset of diversity, equity, and inclusion. A good idea is a good idea. And you should always evaluate the good idea for its value and not for where it comes from. So I hope that all the leaders will be open to listen to a good idea when it's good. Now, it doesn't matter if it comes from a global delivery center, if it comes from the headquarters. Not everything should be steered centrally. And with that formula, I'm sure you will get a lot of value.
Thank you very much, Egle. So let me move on to the last slide, because this is really why we're doing all this. It's the patient. I'm sure that everybody in the room knows somebody who either has or has had cancer or has even died from the disease. And that's the case for all of us here as well, and that's why we're in it. You've heard it all, ladies and gentlemen. There are many of you in the room who will probably already be on a transformation journey or have started it. So beware of the calm waters, the treacherous. Embrace the risk. Don't be afraid of the storm. You need a bit of storm if you want real change. Nurture your workforce. That's your most important asset. Be open with the mindset and embrace diversity at absolutely every level. And as the beautiful theme of this conference says, transform to thrive. So take the plunge, go on the odyssey. Thank you.